Hello, everyone. My name is Calvin Lei. I'm CEO and the co-founder of AQUMON. And today I'm very glad to see so many of my friends and my partners here. And at the entrance, just now, a lot of people, when they go to this ballroom, they said, "Congratulations." I feel like it's a wedding. It's not a wedding because I think all of us has been stuck to those Zoom meetings for so many times, right? And it's 2 years we can have this physical meeting, and I'm really glad to stand here. And thank you, Clara and Peter. Thank you for your kind support since 2017 when AQUMON was still at the Village House in Clearwater Bay. And without your support, we can't go this far, actually. Thank you very much. And today I'm very, very glad to be here, share the stage with my friends, with my partners. And the topic I'm going to share is to summarize the 5 years journey of AQUMON, which also the journey from high finance to big finance. So what is high finance? Actually, most of the audience sitting here is coming from financial institutions, from very large, private banking. And we know that for the wealth management, it's existed for the centuries, and the people are serving the most wealthiest, high net worth individuals, like the top 5% of the richest guy. They are billionaires. They are they are holding a lot of assets. And that's called high finance. You need to have a very large team to serve them. But today, we are going to talk about the big finance. So what is big finance? Because of fintech, because of technology, we can have the ability to serve more clients. That is a bigger mission. So when talk about fintech, let's go through the history of fintech in just a few minutes. So back in 1990s, the first wave of fintech began. What kind of companies they are? They are like Fiserv in the US, they are Hang Seng in China. And what they do, right? They do the bank's back office system, right? They're still here and quite large. In 2000, right, we have new players coming in, right? They are PayPal, they are Visa, and actually Elon Musk, who is also a superhero here, is also from fintech, right? So fintech is quite a good business. And they are doing a lot of things to revolutionize the payment system. So in the next decade, who's coming out? Some P2P companies like SoFi and the Lending Club, and a lot of them in China as well. And what these 3 decades look like, right? They are heavily rely on IT system, and they reduce the repetitive manual work. But the one thing we need to notice is that they are weakly connected to financial markets. So coming to the next 5 years from 2015, there are some new animals in the house, right? What are they? Right? They are Futu from Hong Kong. They are Robinhood in the US, serving 16 million people. They are Coinbase, right? They got 60 million young people trading cryptos. So what's in common of these kind of players? Firstly, they lower down the threshold, right? They use frictional shares. They use a gimmick. They use a game-like experience to attract a lot of young investors into the capital market, which is quite amazing. But the one thing we also need to notice is that it's a self-directed trading, right? These platforms, they are not responsible for your performance, and they are not care about your returns. They just want you to do the trades all the time because they are collecting the fees. So what's the last castle? What's the next $1 trillion market not yet conquered? That's a very interesting question, right? That's the castle. It's wealth management. Why? It's quite simple. Firstly, it's heavily regulated, right? Clara is here, and she knows that's why the wealth management industry is very rigid because we need to give the trust. We need to build the trust through time and also through the ability to prove that we can make money for you, right? So that's the last castle we are going to conquer. I think in the past 10 years, when I just landed to Hong Kong, there's a term called unbanked, right? We are going to serve the unbanked people. And I think today we solved the problem because we have a lot of virtual banks, 8 virtual banks in Hong Kong, like open bank account just in 5 minutes. If we open bank account, we open account with security house, it takes longer time. So this is the problem I think we solved in Hong Kong. But in wealth management, I think there's a new term called unprivate banked, right? That's the next wave going to happen. Because even in Hong Kong, it's a financial hub of the world. Like when we do the survey back in 2016, 95% of the population don't have very professional or scientific investment advice. So they are having the total assets less than $1 million US, but not reached to the private banking level, so there's no private bankers can serve them. That's the people we are going to target. How many of them globally? It's a big number. It's 330 million people that is not served in the wealth management industry. How much wealth do they hold, right? It's also a very big number. It's nearly like 60 trillion US. That's quite a lot of big number. It's according to BCG's Global Wealth 2021. Let me give you some concept, right? This is called the big finance wealth. That is 59 trillion US. This is the US equity market cap, like 45 trillion US. This is China's equity market cap, only 1/3 of the US. It's 15. And here's the black one, right? A lot of buzzwords, a lot of things happening over there. It's a crypto world, right? It got 2.3 trillion US. So these people are holding a lot of wealth and they are still booming and they are not served. Here is the paradigm shift from the high finance to big finance, right? You can see the comparison. There are like 60,000 billionaires globally. They are holding 22 trillion, which also covered by a lot of private bankers. But there are so many people, like 330 million people, holding $59 trillion unserved. So how to big finance? That's the question we are going to ask today, right? And it's not easy. Why? There's an impossible triangle, right? These people, although they are not reaching to the private banking clients level, but their requirements is not low. Firstly, they want to tailor-made. Every investor, no matter how much money they have, they want to be tailor-made. And the second one, you need to be compliant to the regulation and also be professional, right? The third one is make money for me. That's the simple needs, make money for me in wealth management. So here comes AQUMON, right? It's HKUST's library, and it's me and Dr. Huang who started the company in the library of HKUST, and they got a brilliant sea view. And we come to the world with a mission, right? We want to empower every investor. We want to empower every investor. That's our mission. So remember this triangle? It's impossible, right? But we did something using a lot of technologies to conquer this thing and make it possible. So first thing is that we use IT system to solve the problem of service, right? We can do the tailor-made through the whole UI UX journey, and it's really smooth. Secondly, we want to be compliant. So we apply to the license when we only have like 10 people in the village house. We know that if we want to go further, we must get the trust and also get the license from SFC. And the last thing is our belief, is our philosophy, is we believe in big data. We believe in the algorithm can drive the diversification of your portfolio, and it works. So investment, everything is driven by the algorithm. The journey is like this. Back in 2016, we started the first global asset allocation algorithm that is called Smart Global. And in 2017, we got the license from SFC Type 1 and 4. And 2018, we launched the first robo with foreign commercial bank, and it's still the #1 robo advisor in China. And in 2019, we exploded. We signed more than 50 financial institutions. And last year, our growth rate is reaching 500% last year, and this year is still going. So what we have achieved so far, right? We are proudly served 500,000 people in Hong Kong and the GBA area. And 90% of our investors got a positive return if they invest 9 months or beyond. And we launched 30+ robo-advisors with our financial institutions, with our partners. But we are not satisfied, right? Remember, our goal is to empower every investor. We want to reach our goal, that is 10 million people, as fast as we can. How fast? In just 2 years' time. We want to launch 100 robo-advisors with different financial institutions. What kind of target clients they are? They are commercial banks, they are virtual banks, they are insurance companies, securities house, also family office, asset managers, because everyone needs to upgrade to a digital wealth management, and they need this ability to have the brain to think out of the box. Because in the past, we are using a human brain, using Excel to do the investment, but now we established a very large algo system that can empower these institutions. So we are thinking all the time, right, after 5 years, because we have done so much. We have the license, we have the track record, we have the successful case with institutions. Why not we can have something like a plug-in SaaS system, just to use APIs and the cloud-based to connect to institutions in a very fast way, like the other fintech industry already have, right? They all have something as a service. That's a buzzword, right? You have a license as a service, you have a core system as a service, you have a payment as a service. So here today, I'm very proud to present you our new thing. It's called Robo-Advisor as a Service. It's AQUMON's RaaS. And it's really powerful compared to the last model of white label, because we have been down several robo-advisors in Hong Kong and in mainland China. It takes quite a long time, almost 1.5 years to 2 years to launch a robo. And if we are using this SaaS model, it's really fast. Firstly, it's 100% compliant to the regulation. And secondly, it's 20 times faster than white label. And the third thing is quite interesting, because most of the institutions we go to pitch, they said, hey, Calvin, I like your idea, but I want to something different. There's something special. I don't want to be the same system like a Bank A or Bank B. And I can guarantee you that each of the institutions' robo-advisor will be different. Why? Because we can have different underlyings. For example, we can have algorithm on ETFs, on mutual funds, on stocks, on fixed income, or even in futures, right? So everything is tailor-made, and also your client can have different UI UX experience according to your institution's format. So every robo is different, but the core is the same. It's global asset allocation, it's a scientific investment, it's based on the algorithm. And the last thing I also think is very important, because we can lower down the cost as much as 60%. That's quite a huge amount of money. So what your clients can have through this robo-advisor as a service. Firstly, according to our past 6 years of track record, from conservative to aggressive, it's a 4 to 15 per annum return for a normal individual investor. And I totally believe in that this is probably the best investment tool a retail investor can have in Hong Kong or even in Asia, because it's really stable and diversified. Even though some market got some drawdown, but the whole portfolio is quite stable. And secondly, everyone's portfolio is tailor-made. And actually today I want to thank about one of our partners, CMB Vinlong Bank. They are quite innovative, right? No matter the first version of robo-advisor is only like a risk type from conservative to aggressive, but they add 2 dimensions. Like you can have your favorite sectors, and also you can have your favorite countries. And everyone's portfolio is tailor-made. Last thing is beautiful, right? It's not as boring, it's not just some PPT, it's the user journey that is really smooth, and you can feel that it's automatically working for you. So what RaaS can bring to the industry, bring to Hong Kong, and I think it can bring like 1 trillion new AUM to the market, and we can serve 10 million more investors in next 2 years, and bring the industry 10 billion new revenues to the industry. And actually, you think it's big? It's not, right? It's only 2.58% of the total AUM of Hong Kong's wealth management industry, according to SFC's survey. And I think in just 2 years' time, we will help Hong Kong surpass like Switzerland, become the world's largest cross-border wealth management center in the world. So the AQUMON team is here at your service, right? You remember there's only 2 people in the library of HQST. Now we got 150 talents here. And we very proudly to establish the largest PhD algo team. We have like more than 50 people in the algo team, and a lot of experience in connecting to the institutions. So conclusion of my presentation, firstly, new technology gives new concept, and that's the different wave of the fintech industry, and I like it. And the second one is it's going to be the new era of big finance. And lastly, thank you for your trust. Thank you very much.